This is the trigger warning for our show. Please understand that various monsters had various victims and hunted in various ways depending on the folklore, mythology, or stories that were told about them. Please understand that it is not our intent to upset you. You will be given other warnings and additional warnings depending on the episode, but this is our blanket statement. We didn't write the myths, but we are using them to tell our story. Also, this is the content warning for our show. There will be cursing. There will be some interesting ideas. We will take it in where we can, but be warned, there was beer involved.
What if I told you there is a world where not only are monsters like vampires and werewolves real, but they have rights, just like you and me. And in this world, there exists a secret government organization dedicated to keeping you safe and making sure they follow the rules. Welcome to Anarium, a Monster of the Week podcast.
Hey everybody, it's Cameron, your favorite neighborhood podcaster guy, back again with a couple more episodes for you, and that's right, you heard me correct. We have a couple episodes for you today, and that's because when we weren't sure if Taylor was coming back, we recorded a couple episodes to kind of hold us over in the meantime, but then he was able to get back to us much sooner, so we had these episodes kind of put in the middle. But now we just kind of want to get to the next arc, so we're going to go ahead and get this little quick side story out of the way with me and Rob today. And I hope you guys enjoy it. This was really, really fun. Of course, we missed Taylor, but to be able to just kind of step away from a main plot line and just kind of work on some character development. So this was really fun to make, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we did. All right, let's get into it.
Hello, welcome to Anarium. I'm Sam. I'm your keeper, the guy who made the world with various friends. World given life by Michael Sands, Monster of the Week RPG, powered by the Apocalypse. We have my friends with me today. Only two. Life happens. Who do we have today?
Yeah, Taylor, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh.
Yeah, today it's just me, Cameron, and I play Bernard.
Well, apparently it's not also me. It's just Cameron, so I'll be disconnecting my mic. I'm Rob, and I'm a little left out here in Denver.
You woke up at 7 a.m. in Denver to play, and not today.
Yeah.
Poor Taylor's going to be like,
Not dealing with your shit
my name's
today,
Marcellus, and I play the monstrous. I'm a vampire. All right, so, I'm not sure when this episode's going to hit, so I don't know where you guys have been. I'm not entirely positive what's been going on. And that's fine. That's cool. That's why we record a little in advance, so you guys always have something to listen to. Before we jump in too much, I'm going to do the thing that every GM does when they have a podcast, and it's if you guys could rate and review us, we would really appreciate it. I'm not asking you to lie for us. If you think we are a 3-star podcast with promise and some rough edges, if you would be kind enough to rate us that way, I appreciate it. I know Cameron gives you guys our email address and the beginnings and the ends of episodes. If you want to shoot us an email, give us some constructive criticism, I'm in. Like I said, rate and review, that kind of helps with algorithms. Unfortunately, with how more modern podcasting apps are working, you're not downloading as much, you're streaming episodes, so we don't actually know who's listening, and it may be the 30 people we have on average, and hey, I really appreciate you guys being there. It means a lot that you come back with us. But if you could rate and review, let your friends know, get the word out. We've got enough of a back catalog that there can be a little binging if someone needs to. I know some people prefer, let's get the whole story in. But if you guys could do that, I'd really appreciate it. It more or less just lets people know we're here. Like, we're not monetized. We're not in this for money. We're in this to tell stories and have friends. If that comes about, that's cool, but that's in no way part of our plan. We just want to see if there is an audience and everyone's got their point of view, and maybe if someone can be like, oh, hey, I do sound work, and I know that if you touch this, that'll completely change the way this happens, and maybe that's a rough edge we've got.
Yeah, and just so, I think we mentioned it before, if you listen on Spotify, you can actually rate on there now, so that's one cool thing.
Just looking to spread the word, whether it be hey on Twitter or whatever. rate, review, let the world know we're here. We did make a list of Monster of the Week podcasts
you
that I
mentioned
found.
that.
I thought that was pretty cool. That somebody was like, "Oh, hey, look, they do Monster of the Week. If that's what you're looking for, here they are."
Yeah, and like Sam mentioned too, this is canon. This episode, we don't know when it's going to air, so it's canon, but it's also not a part of the main plot line or any of the main plot lines. This is
For funsies, this is character development.
Character
This
development
is-
fun. We don't have Taylor, but I was able to have some free time, and we kind of made it work. So we wanted to get together and do something.
Got to do what we can while we got the time.
Yeah,
I'm
so
in.
we're gonna have some fun, and this, these power ups and all, any points we accrue are going to go towards our actual characters in canon, but we just don't know exactly when it's gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll most likely at the end of the story you guys are in is when this will take place, which means if anybody levels up, that power and ability will not show up at Pinebrook Sanitarium. But as soon as that story's over, this can drop, and then you would have that ability. I know Rob's like 1 experience point away and hoping for some 4s and 3s over there to get it, but we'll be cool. We'll keep things as well as we can as far as keeping things in order. And with that, we will get started.
go.
If you need
Can I
to
get a
cut
hell
any
yeah?
of that down,
Yeah,
don't
we'll look at it.
hesitate. All right. So where would you guys be? You are in an Arium headquarters. It's normal day. Probably early morning, coffee time before noon. Nothing really big has happened recently for you. It's been kind of chill, kind of quiet. Charlie team has not been dispatched to anything. Getting a little restless, if to say anything.
I would
Go ahead.
I would absolutely be down in my office, looking things over with Jacques, cleaning up my space, trimming some hedges, type of thing. Just really develop this rapport with Jacques over our time, and almost like a husband-wife, just bicker banter with him that we don't even recognize as bicker banter. It's become our relationship.
I would be. Bernard would be at his desk, and if you mentioned like nothing big has been happening, like we haven't been given cases, I think Bernard is probably at his desk. Not
Day drinking.
well, that's a given, but maybe he's just pouring through newspapers and
He's looking for something.
he's looking for something to go find. Maybe he's on a phone trying to talk to somebody like, hey, what's going on in your neck of the woods? You heard anything? Like he's talking to his contacts. He's looking for a thing to hunt.
Right.
I would actually like to ring up to Bernard to have him help me settle a debate with Jacques.
Okay. Do you have any idea what time it is?
Look, I don't care what time it is. Jacques is at it again, and he needs you to settle this.
All right, give me a few. I'll be down there.
Yeah, he's coming, Jacques. No! Damn it, wait!
Click.
Yeah.
Hey, you show up when you're ready. We will cut back down to the Arboretum. There we have our normal. We have trees, flowers, plants, bushes, numerous different members of our occult staff coming down to pick the herbs they need, the flowers that they need, all respectfully. Well, there's one. Not quite as respectfully as he should be. Younger kid. But Garcon, our young friend Jacques, is flying around him, like landing by his hands when he's violently picking things while still yelling at you from across the room.
Bernard will be here soon. We will have this settled. You will not speak of Bernard in such a way. That is so vulgar, Jacques. I would not know that of his mother.
Leave my mother out of this.
Bernard, I am glad to see you have made it. Will you please tell Jacques over here that's not all know how to prune properly, that these wool caps will be okay and recover.
And like this bug is like in your face politely, pointing and gesturing.
All right, bud. Here's what we're gonna do. He reaches in his pocket. He pulls out his phone. What was the question again?
This newcomer here, Jacques does not feel is sensitive enough to the flora. I have told him this would come with time and with grace, but then Jacques went on to describe he is ruining the pollination, and this is not how things are pollinated. He is not a hummingbird, Jacques!
This kid is terrified. Like, you've got a kid here with like prunes in one hand, wearing like your grandma's gardening gloves, just like standing there like clearly he's caused a problem. Mom and dad are fighting and I don't know what to do with this. Like, he's just standing there like either the tree dude's gonna kill me, I'm gonna get stung, or they're gonna let me go.
I think he looks at him. He's like, "All right, Tanner, beat it."
The kid, thank you, sir, and runs. Like, runs. He's gone. Very uncomfortable for him.
I think he puts the phone back in his pocket and he's like, "All right, look, I was gonna use Google, which, by the way, you need to learn how to use. Yeah, man, I don't know. It'll grow back, and if it doesn't, we'll get you more, isn't that?"
The real reason I have asked you... Allow me to speak first, Jacques! Damn it! The real reason I have called you down here is... Have you been hanging out with Jacques when I am not in the office? He seems to be... more brash than he once was.
I don't really hang out with anybody, bub, but if he's taking after me, he's taking after one of the best.
Even the bug gags a little bit and flies away.
Okay, so this is where we get to, or where I get to. So I was researching. I didn't know how you wanted to get to this story. Can I say that I have found?
I was just about to say.
Okay.
I think you guys are. I think you guys are getting a little cooped up, getting a little stir crazy. I found some articles. We are headed to St. Michael's Cemetery.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me get in character here a little bit. I think starts rubbing his temples. I think we're all feeling a little cooped up, and I found something. I think we need to go check out, if for no other reason than just get out of this fucking building. We're headed to St. Michael's Cemetery. You got any pruning you need to finish up before we go?
1 second. I actually want to Google something here really quick. Out of character, sorry.
I made it up. There is no St. Michael's Cemetery.
I literally was going to suggest the Mont St. Michael, but I don't remember when it was built.
Where's it at?
France.
You guys are not going to France for this.
But my character would. That's what.
Oh, okay. No, yeah. Do you? No. Sorry. No, that's perfect.
Yeah. Mont St. Michael built. I just wanted to see if that's something I would know in character. Like, yeah, 8th century. Perfect.
One of the biggest ones. So he's just like, oh, we're going to the cemetery. All right.
Yeah. The Mont St. Michael. She is beautiful, I hear. I heard many tales of her as a boy. But it is unlike us to go back to France. What could we be doing at Mont St. Michael?
France. Yeah. You're gonna have to wait to get some escargot later, buddy. We're Anarium's got a budget, but they don't spend it on us. We're going to where?
It's actually somewhere fairly close. It would be like we're driving an hour to get to the cemetery. It is not in France.
Yeah, we're just headed down the road. If you want to stop, look at a log and pick up some snails, that's fine. But we're not going to France, but.
So you guys are going to go down and climb into your Ford Focus, your hybrid of some kind. I don't think Ford Focus is a hybrid, but a hybrid, and you're going to, it's about an hour away. It is a fairly good-sized cemetery in and around the town of Arkham in Kansas. You arrive. You Bernard would be aware that there is a supernatural presence here. What you have found in your readings is that a lot of the roadkill in the area is being found a little bit more munched on than it should be, and it's all centered around St. Michael's, which means you know that the ghouls who naturally take care of that territory are having some kind of issue where they are needing more food, and that means they're leaving their territory, which means they're more likely to be seen. So it's time to show up and talk to some people.
Okay. All right. So I guess trying to think. I think I'm just gonna give her a call and just kind of tell her that we're headed to St. Michael's. We're gonna check something out.
Don't tell me. Do it.
Yeah.
Emily Gorganas, how can I help you?
Hey there, Gorgonzola. Just wanted to give you a call, let you know me and the Tree Man are heading down to St. Michael's, and we're gonna check out what looks like some ghouls.
As much as I appreciate your
Yeah, that's
candor,
great. Yeah, we'll talk to you later. We'll check in and let you know
I
what
can
we find.
fire you. You know that, right? And put you in prison for the murders you've done.
That's fair. All right.
All right, first off, Gorgonzola, no. Second off, I'm glad you found work. I like the initiative. Third off, respect, or you can be a stone in my home, and I can look at you every day and think that's what I'll do to every employee that disrespects me. I like you, Bernard. Not that much.
Fair enough. I thought we'd established kind of a fun little quirky relationship. I
We
thought.
do, and that's why this isn't going to wind up in your permanent record. We've had a discussion about it. Consider this your verbal warning.
Fair enough. But like I said, me and Groot, we're headed to St. Michael's. Is that okay with you?
If you think you can handle him on your own, no disrespect towards you or Orpheus. If you think you are prepared to take him on a mission, just the two of you, I have no reason signing off on that. If anything gets out of control, however, you will need to call in a team to take things to the necessary level.
That's fair. And I think I'll just tell Jacques about it, and he'll reprimand him. They seem to have established a bit of a relationship. I don't think he'd like to be in trouble with him, so.
Question, have you been spending more time with Jacques because he has taken on some of your less friendly personality traits?
Like I said, I don't teach anybody anything, but if he's been watching me and he thinks I'm worth emulating, then, I can't stop him.
Always the victim, Bernard. Enjoy your day. Please check in if anything comes up or you have any issues. You are aware that there are a nest of ghouls there that take care of things. I don't know. I look forward to reading your report as to why you are investigating, but I trust you. Enjoy your day. Have a good one.
Will do. You too. And then, yeah, we're good there. And then I'm gonna, have to edit out some stuff there, but we'll put that in there.
Hopefully not too much. I think we did. We kept
Oh yeah.
it all pretty
I
close.
meant the part where we were.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, the technical, all
Gotcha.
that stuff, and then our conversation about what we were gonna do. I'll take that stuff out and this.
Gotcha. In this right now. Rob is still picking up his headphones and looking terrified.
trying.
Nope, you're good. Okay. Anytime I see you start technically troubleshooting things, I'm like, we can give him a minute if we need to. All right, so you guys get your car. You're driving. Orpheus, I assume that you have pepper grindered up today, and you are enchanted to look human.
It's with me. I would not have utilized it yet. Largely still not picking up on the cues on when it's most appropriate to do it.
All right, that makes sense.
Bernard, you have taught Jacques how to ferment the honey, didn't you?
Now that I may have given him a few tips.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out how a bee would make mead and not kill itself instantly with the alcohol.
Okay.
I have heard of small batch bourbon, but small batch mead for bees? Bernard, you impress me, you sly fox.
If they ever decide to sell it, should be pretty expensive. Good for them.
All right, as you guys pull up, it is a traditional cemetery. It has the big iron gates in front. Those were not taken during war efforts. That's why we generally we see the big iron gates, but everything else has since been replaced. During World War II, when we needed the steel, we took the cast iron fencing from around cemeteries, which was originally cast iron because they believed it would keep ghosts and spirits in and ghosts and demons out. So you are pulling up on a modernized cemetery. It's fairly good sized. I mean, you're looking at maybe 2-3 miles worth of cemetery. It's older. It's been around for a while. Handful of mausoleums in one area where clearly at one point there was a little bit more reverence for the dead that was going here. Understandably, more people, more deaths. It is well taken care of. Grass is mowed. Certain graves have flowers. It in Kansas here, given that we have an Anarium base, there are some people who fully recognize that the dead should be respected and taken care of. You, Bernard, are aware that you are going to want to go to those mausoleums. That is where we'll call it front desk for the ghoul population of St. Michael's tends to accept visitors, even if unannounced.
Okay. Couple things. First, I hate that every time I hear Mausoleum, I think of that Fall Out Boy song. the Sugar We're Going Down, lie in the grass next to the mausoleum. That's where my brain goes every time.
I'm over there thinking, like, what Fall Out Boy? Okay, fuck you.
And then I just want to make sure, like, I get the etiquette right here, because I think this is something that Bernard certainly would have had experience with, and if it's this close, he's probably had to interact with these ghouls at some point.
They're not. You've never really had issues past the initial setting up of their society, the ground rules. These ghouls understand Anarium. They are intelligent creatures. They don't speak English like the one you're going to meet. His name is Lothos. He speaks enough English that you guys can communicate. He's kind of in charge. Think of it as a mayor. It is an elected position for this. I'm going to call it a pack, but that doesn't give it really the respect it deserves. They have their own society and their norms. Most of where they live is underground. But you would know Lothos. He would know you on sight. He would trust you to an extent. They are a very untrusting creature, right, given that they've been living in cemeteries and underground.
Yeah. It's a tenuous agreement. He is a monster. It's my job to hunt them, and he understands that, if they fuck up.
How long have you been an Anarium agent?
I think it's been 20 years.
20
right?
years.
Yeah.
You're not hunting them anymore, you racist bastard. You are interacting with them.
Well, no, I'm not hunting him.
You have a reputation that precedes you, that he's here, he knows how to do his job well.
Right.
But when you say, he knows I hunt monsters, it's like, that's not really what you do anymore. But it's probably how you still view it.
Yeah, I think it is. Like, I think he understands that there are some that are different, and I think I've even said it a few times. Like, my instinct is to shoot you.
You're a trigger puller.
Yeah, but I'm going to give you a shot before I give you a shot.
Your training, your training and your instinct is always trigger puller, danger. Yeah. These are monsters. That's where you started. Whereas now you're learning, investigate, taking clues, figure it out beyond where is it at and how do I kill it, which is interesting. I like it. Sorry. No, my brain always goes to like your story and like I picture it and I see it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting how like same page but different. Yeah, we're good. Sorry.
Yeah. So I just want to know, like you said, going up to this front desk. I kind of know what the protocol would be, but can you walk me through like what it is that I need to do to get their attention? Or
you will go to their mausoleum. I can walk you guys through this. All right, so you're in the cemetery. You do go on foot. You do not take your vehicle to the mausoleum. That is kind of a disrespect for what you're here for them. There are 3 mausoleums kind of on a hill. There's, as you walk up the circular path to this section of the cemetery, there's one big mausoleum in the middle, one on the right that's a little broken down but clean, and then one on the left. That is the one you're going to go to. You will enter that mausoleum, In the center, there is a tomb. There is a marble tomb. On there, you will more or less knock on the tomb lid, and depending on if they are asleep and who is available, somebody will come up and answer it. You are knocking. That is part of the deal where it's, nope, we need to respectfully be able to come to you. You're going to knock on it, and somebody's going to go find Lothos and go, hey, Anarium's here or kids are here. You have to make that choice, not me.
Okay.
Bernard, before you knock on this door, you know there must be a little bourbon poured for those who have fallen.
I think he starts reaching for it, but he's kind of giving him a look like, you're going to have to start carrying your own bourbon if we're just me dumping this shit out all over the place. So he pours a little bit out, but begrudgingly.
Please tell me you pour one out for the homies and hit a sea walk on the gravesite.
No, but I think he does. He pours one out, and I think he will take a drink while it's out, so we can go ahead and clock that. He has begun his what move was
The thing that makes you more of a fighter than a talker?
Yeah.
Good call for your diplomatic mission.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a little leaf cup as per canon for my character when he starts pouring one out, so it's not just soaking in the ground. I'm gonna catch it in my little leaf cup and place it.
Oh, okay. That's what he wants. Okay, yeah. So we do that, and I take a swig, and yeah, all right. And
The door's not particularly heavy. It's not locked. They have found that when you try to make an entry point as locked away and don't touch this as possible, it's where all the teenagers instantly run to. Whereas if they can just walk in, look at what they're going to look at, and then walk out or hang out there, they're less likely to stay long. They want to break into something. That's why they picked one of the smaller mausoleums instead of the giant one at the top of the hill.
okay. Dang it,
I'm boring him. It's fine. I
no,
respect
I got
it.
like 3 hours of sleep last night. That's
You monster.
I'm one of those people that like I was almost asleep and then baby started crying, and
Gotcha.
once I got out of like the sleeping mode, like then I couldn't go back to sleep until like 5 o'clock. Okay, so I think I raise my hand to knock on the door, and I look at Orpheus. I'm like, have you ever met a ghoul before?
There are ghouls. There are out ghouls. I do not characterize anybody.
This should be fun. And he knocks.
You knock on the marble, and something underneath it is what is going to give it its echoing effect. Something that these ghouls have created to be heard further down. The top side doesn't look that fancy or different, but where you're knocking in just the right spot, it creates the echo. Travels down the tunnel, and you don't hear it, but you create quite the stir. Someone's knocking on it. Someone's got to go find Lothos. Let's go. Come on. In their language, which is more of a combination of growls and barks and some syllables. Though we might call it simplistic, you need to think of it as almost like the Swahili language, where there are clicks and then there are syllables, where it's actually so much more complex than what we can gather, that it's how different cultures develop their language and all that. Just because if I describe it as growls and barks, it sounds like, oh, they're stupid. Well, no, that's how they do their thing.
With it going down, what comes to my head is the Lord of the Rings, when they're in the mines of Moria and that
Throw
bucket.
yourself down them next time and save us the trouble of your stupidity.
And then you start hearing those calls back and forth. That's where my head was at. Okay, so
you wait maybe 5 minutes, maybe, before that lid raises up just a touch. Almost enough that if you weren't standing there waiting for it, you would not notice it. They are well trained in sometimes teenagers take a peek and we can't just show ourselves to everyone. When he sees that it is you, it is kind of a gesture of like raising open a chest lid. Like this has been designed to open to show this entryway, where you see Lothos standing on a stairwell that goes down. You could comfortably follow him down there. You'd have to do some crawling and kneeling to get through some of the holes they've made it, as ghouls are a very much hunched over, almost humanoid. They have paw-like back feet, and their hands, because of what they live underground, have almost mole-like hands where it's designed for digging, but their faces are very much like a dog. They have the long snout, their ability to smell that flesh that they need to eat, that has developed over the years. The snout is long enough that there's enough of that smell tissue in there that they can smell the dead through the dirt, so they don't have to go in through the top. They can come up from the bottom, break open a casket, and pull it through.
Yeah. So these are not the not near as attractive as the supernatural version of ghouls. So
No,
This is
These-
very much the Witcher version.
yeah.
These are your Pickman's model Lovecraftian Witcher ghouls.
Cool.
The one standing in front of you, however, is wearing a tweed overcoat that has seen better days. It is dirty, it has holes in it, but you know Lothos based on this jacket, as most ghouls, admittedly, look very similar from one to the other.
Okay.
He looks at you and simply goes, like turning his head like a dog, and goes, "What?"
How you doing, Lothos? I'm sure you know why I'm here, but I guess you're gonna make me say it. We've been finding some rodents, dogs, stray cats, that kind of thing, with some pretty interesting bite marks that made me want to come talk to you. You know anything about that?
"What is?" And he points one of his claws toward Orpheus. What is?
Oh, yeah. This is my friend Orpheus, and he's... Well, we don't know what the fuck he is, if I'm being honest with you, but he's a big tree kind of man. He's all right.
Friend?
Very much so.
And he eyes you, Orpheus, not so much in a look at this big bastard, but more in a, if he knows where this is and next week decides he's not an Anarium agent, how much do I give him? How much do I show him? Would
I will-
you address that look?
Yeah. I'm going to step forward and... Lothos, my name is Orpheus, and I am a friend to those who respect the world around them. And I'll extend an olive branch, per se.
Okay. What are you going to hand him? What are you going to go for? Because as you say, those who respect the world around them, he kind of looks around the mausoleum and, perks up a weed that is growing next to the doorway in the ground where he's like, "Oh, look, see, I'm respecting this thing." Jesus, you're big.
That would absolutely be enough. I would, if you would allow me to, maybe grow, a rose or something as just, a token of sorts.
Lothos will lean forward. He will smell it twice. He will eat it, just like dog taking a treat, bite into it, chew on it for a minute, and kind of look at you. Smell like Samity. And then he kind of goes back in the hole for a minute. And then he pops back up, and there is two younger ghouls, small, human, they're children, kind of where his legs are at, that are super curious about what's going on. This is all new to them, and he's trying to show them how we can interact with humans and other creatures where we don't always have to be enemies. He is allowing Orpheus to see more of their numbers. This is the greatest friendly gesture he can grant to you as what they are in their understanding.
Okay.
I would recognize that.
He's literally showing you his children, showing you we have numbers, we're here. And he kind of smiles at you guys. And then he kind of bops the little kids with his hands to get them to go back down. You know how parents do, that dismissing gesture. They both kind of grunt, growl, and then they run. And he goes, "Food. Food, he's trying to think of the word. Sparse. Low. Food low. No new crunch. No. Not bit busy.
Okay, so I think since we've been playing for a while and we haven't rolled any dice, I think I'd like to roll to investigate a mystery here.
Do it.
Can I get one of these little...
Get you a tray.
That's a 5, so... an
Experience.
experience. And I'm going to write that name down, too. Fun podcasting. Note-taking. Yeah, so that didn't work. So I guess what I was going to do is ask...
Ask a question anyway. I mean, you may have failed your investigate roll, but if he trusts you both, it might be enough to at least get him to give you information maybe you didn't ask for. It may not be what you're investigating, but I can still proceed further in your storyline.
Ask your question. I've got an idea.
Okay.
Let's see how it plays out.
Have you been seeing any ghouls that aren't members of your family in this area? Or have you been going in other areas?
Lothos, my friend does not mean to be so brash. You see, he's a drunkard.
I
We
think
would
I
love
look at
to
him, I'm
help you
like,
with your-
I'm not giving you any more bourbon.
Lothos leans over and head forward a little bit and starts to sniff the air around Bernard when you're he's a drunkard. It's all right, maybe.
It's fair.
Your family is very lovely, Lothos. I would love to help provide you some food, but we must understand if there has been any change to the area first. Is your territory under attack?
Roll to investigate a mystery. You give it a shot. Unfortunately, Bernard's was low enough that I couldn't have you assist him. It wouldn't have done any good. You got an 8. So that'll be your strong question, and he looks at you and he simply says, "Immaculate, immaculate, dead." I will have Bernard get a ping on that. You are aware that there is another ghoul area, a sanctuary, in another cemetery, which is probably maybe 20, 30 miles away, other side of town, kind of thing, where it's the idea that, nope, most towns have more than one cemetery. This one has opened. It's not new by any standards, but this cemetery is starting to be full. It has played its course. It's in such an area where they can't really add on, and it's old enough that they're not burying people here nearly as often.
Okay.
Bernard, what does he mean by... I'm sorry, Sam, was immaculate?
Immaculate Dead. The other cemetery is known as the Confines of the Immaculate Dead.
What does he mean by this, Bernard, this immaculate dead?
There's another cemetery about 30 minutes from here, the Confines of the Immaculate Dead. It's pretty old. It's getting a little full. Maybe that's what he's talking about. And I think so. I'm gonna now turn to Lothos and say, so they've been coming here.
All new crunch. Go to Immaculate. Not Michael.
Okay. All right. Well,
They are starving you out, Lothos?
He's not positive what you're implying by that. He doesn't know how to answer it. What you are suggesting is that they are taking the dead. this cemetery's just full. And so they're not getting anything new, so they're not getting any new food. It's not planned. Those ghouls aren't like trying to cause a turf war, but in order for them to eat, they have to spread out and find roadkill and bring it home.
And just so I'm not confused in this, I can cut this out. Confines of the Immaculate Dead is full.
No,
St. Michael's
St.
is full.
Michael's is full.
So all the new crunch
All
is
the
going
dead
to
are going to
The
Immaculate.
crunch is the coffin. The idea to get through the crunch to get to the body,
Meat. Yeah.
the meat, the food. Everything new is kind of going there. We're full. We have plots that are reserved for families, but like that requires them to die. It's not someone has a tragedy, we take them to this Catholic cemetery. It's this one has existed long enough that it has begun to be full. The plots that are there are kind of reserved, whereas the newer one, the Immaculate Dead, is newer. I mean, it's still, 20, 30 years old, but they have tons of land and they're in an area where they can expand. Whereas this one was kind of original to the city and they've built around it enough that there's nowhere for it to go.
Okay. So, and would I have any information on, are there ghouls at?
Yes.
And I
Yes.
would know that.
You know that. You are fully aware that the Confines of the Immaculate Dead has its own group.
It's probably reasonably understood most cemeteries are going
Right.
to have a ghoul presence.
Okay. Or at least did at one point in time.
Or will, if they're
yeah.
new.
Okay. I think I just look at him and I'm like, all right, Lothos, we're going to do what we can to either get some new crunch here or get you to the crunch. That makes sense?
No. And then he just pulls the lid down like he understands you're trying to help, but he has no idea what you're going for.
Okay. All right. I think I just look at Orpheus. I'm like, all right, back to the car. I got an idea. And I think what my idea is I think first we need to call Emily back and inform her what's going on, and see what the steps are. If there's a litigious way to do it or if there's, some kind of outside of the rule book play we're going to have to do to get them.
All right.
Did you say Lothos turned away from us?
He left. He closed the lid to the
Mausoleum.
yes. He closed the top to the marble resting place where he's closed the door. He knows he understands they've been doing some things with outside stuff that might get him in some trouble, but he understands that Bernard's like, we're gonna see what we can help. And so it's like, I have no idea what you mean by what you just said, but I understand that means you're gonna help, so I'm done here. Thanks.
All right. I am with you, Bernard. But he said something that struck a chord with me. I do not understand it. Samedi. It rings so familiar, and yet so distant. Samedi means something to you, Bernard?
So that's what I want to ask you. Does Samedi mean something to me?
Yes. You knew Mama Teresa well enough, which means you've been in Louisiana. You would be vaguely understanding of various parts of the culture there, and voodoo, hoodoo, spiritual practitioners. You know that he is kind of the gatekeeper of the dead in the voodoo tradition. He digs the graves.
Okay. I think I look at him and I'm kind of like, yeah, you caught that too, huh? He's kind of known as the gatekeeper of souls, kind of digs graves, makes deals. Could explain a lot with you. But let's deal with the matter at hand, and we'll put that in our back pocket.
I understand.
Alright, I gotta call this fucking thing, I can't remember what are they. What are they again?
Ghouls.
No, Emily.
Emily, Deputy
Emily
Director.
Gorgonis.
Emily Gorgonis.
Deputy Director
Yeah.
Emily Gorgonis.
And she's a Why can I not think of the name?
Gorgon.
Yeah, she's a.
Her,
Medusa.
her last name Gorgonus
Yeah, that's
doesn't
what I'm saying.
clue you in.
No, my brain just
I
wasn't
love
working.
you guys, but sometimes.
I told you I didn't sleep.
I'm not a smart man, but I do know what love is.
Like, all right, I gotta call this fucking Gorgon back. So that's what I'm gonna do now.
Please call her back. Hey, gorgeous Gorgonus. Just every time, drop another
Something new,
inappropriate-
something playful.
I think I like that one, Gorgeous Gorgonus. That's probably what I'll do. So, I'll let you again. I'm calling you, so you'll have to pick up.
Deputy Director Emily Gorgonus, how can I help you?
Gorgeous Gorgonus. So great to hear your voice again this morning. I got out here and I talked to Lothos, and I got something you might like to know.
All right. What have you discovered?
Seems, as Lothos put it, there's no new crunch coming to St. Michael's. So they've been venturing out and finding crunch on their own. So, as far as I can tell, they haven't gone out and killed any humans, just rodents, other animals, that kind of thing. But it's not my place to say we need to move these guys or find a way to get St. Michael's some new territory, but I don't know. I figured you were the person to call.
We have been developing some business relations that we could attempt to use. If you could, however, maybe make an attempt to the confines of the Immaculate Dead, you might be able to broker a deal with the ghoul in charge there. Her name is Sharon. She might be able to break a deal, help dig a tunnel. They might be able to trade, whether it be working for them during the day, helping dig tunnels. They are not a new establishment, but they aren't quite as large as Lothos' establishment. They might be willing to make a deal. If you could broker that deal between them, that could be part of a problem. If not, we do have something that we've been working on for a spell that may allow them to... We might be able to help them out a bit more. So you attempt to broker the deal. It's much easier for you to do it that way. But if not, we do have a plan, and I will start working on that here. Is that all you needed?
That's it.
Don't flirt with me, Bernard. You're very bad at it. But have a wonderful day. And she hangs up.
Okay. I think he just kind of smiles and he puts his phone in his pocket. He's like, she loves me.
She loves me.
I'm like, all right. We're on our way to confines of the Immaculate Dead. We're going to talk to Sharon. And, all right, we're on the road.
God, your heart is stone right now. What did she say to you?
I'm pretty old, man, and it don't take much from me. But I got a question for you. So Baron Samedi. Well, I can't say that he's bad. He's certainly not somebody I would associate with good either. When you hear that name, does it bring anything back to you? Does it make you feel any way?
Since you guys have unlocked me from the swamp, there are certain things that seem all too familiar and all too distant. Samedi, I do not know him, but he makes the hairs on my vine raise, as if I should know him. I am not afraid, but I have no comfort in that name.
I think, as he's driving, he kind of eyes me, he looks at him, and he's like, I got a feeling we're going to find out how you know him soon enough. I got one more question, though. How do you poop?
Fuck you, Bernard.
All right, everyone. That's the end of the first episode of this little side episode of Anarium. Got a couple more that released today that you can check out. Please, go give it a listen. I think you're going to like it. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing. It's not so much bang bang. It's a little more talky, but I think you guys will like it. Speaking of like it, make sure you're liking and following us on social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. Find us, enjoy us. That sounds a little weird, but tell your friends too. And make sure you rate and review. And if you have any suggestions for us or things you would like to maybe see changed on the show, maybe something we're not doing right, make sure you hit up the email that is on all of our social medias. So thank you all again for listening. This was a really fun one, and I hope you enjoyed it as much. Have a good day or night, whenever you listen to it.